Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Unived Live, where we delve into different realms of sports, nutrition, health, and fitness. Today, we are really eager to talk to. Today, we're really eager to delve into the field of sports physiotherapy, where we've gotten a guest, Dr. Paridhi Ojha, who's a sports physiotherapist. I'll just read out a little introduction about her. So, Dr. Paridhi Ojha is a sports physiotherapist working towards preventing, enhancing, and regaining an individual's maximum movement range and functional capabilities. She is the founder of Enkinetik Performance Clinic. Over the last 6 years, she is working closely with elite athletes across the globe. Her main focus being injury prevention and management, a very vital aspect for athletes considering peak performance. What truly sets Dr. Paridhi apart is how she discovered the field of sports physiotherapy. And without further ado, I'll bring her in to share her story and her expertise with us. Hello, Dr. Paridhi. Welcome to our live.
Hi, Ashmi. Thank you so much.
Hi. So, we are really eager to talk to you today about your approach, which is more preventive uh, towards injuries, which is what we are all looking for. So, before we delve into the actual topic, could you tell us about your background, tell us about your story, and how you came into the field of sports physiotherapy? Am I audible? Hey, Paridhi, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. So I got injured and then I was able to deal with it. But then later on, again, when I got injured, I was like, okay, maybe there's something lagging in my, fitness. That's what I need to work on. And gradually, when I started to progress in my fitness, I started to get into more professional tennis. I played for Delhi State, and that was the year when I ended up playing a lot and did not focus on my recovery. So there was a serious injury which happened in my knee, and that's what caused that sort of a transition for me, that okay, this is something where I had to stop playing for a couple of months. And that was the time frame where I had to work on it actively and not think about the sport. The first thing it took a toll was mentally, because it was very tough for any athlete to be out of sport and then be in that zone where okay, you are playing 6 hours in a day and all of a sudden you can't play for like next 6 months, or you don't know how much timeline. So that's how it became a little challenging for me initially. And then gradually I did get into the science of it and understood that why and what was important for me. So it was a correct timing where I did overuse my body, and then from there getting the therapy done, getting back to everything. But of course the level of fitness was not the same. It took a couple of months to get back to 100. And that's when I decided that okay, I want to make this as a career and change this into something where I can help more and more athletes, and get them injury free and work on the injury prevention as compared to just the management. Because once the injuries happen, yes, you will deal with it and you will be okay, but how do you make sure that the injury does not happen itself at first place? So that's how I discovered this field, and I did my master's in sports medicine. That's when I got really interested in it and I started to work.
Awesome. Story and whatever you have shared is also first-hand experience, so it adds more value to your approach as well. So,
Yes,
diving
absolutely.
straight in the topic, what are some common injuries that you're seeing amongst runners, and what are the reasons? Why are they happening? And Are they preventable? How do they prevent it?
So I do tend to see now it's been 6 years of clinical practice. So I do tend to see a lot of different sports, people who are like national levels or international level, and they're professionally into sports. And then there are people who are recreationally into sports. Especially talking about running injuries, mostly initial stages of running, people start off just to have an activity and see that okay, I want to shed off some weight. Let me try doing running. That's how it starts off from. And gradually when you are into it, you tend to feel that okay, I'm enjoying this sort of a high of running, so let me just push myself and see, let me do a 5K and then do a 10K, and then gradually getting into the half marathon and full marathons. So that is the way how any runner starts off. But in that
Correct.
process, sometimes we do tend to forget that what are the basics of our body, and that's when the injury happens. So most commonly injuries what I see in running, specific sport, is basically runner's knee, which is that you have a pain in your knee, in the front of the kneecap area, and that's because of an overload that the body was not conditioned enough, and then you try to push yourself through it. That's when the first thing happens. There are conditions like hip pain or ankle pain, which can also happen because of how the sport is, because it's always a unilateral sport. So the moment you are on your feet, you're just training, and one step at a time you're moving forward. But if your body is not conditioned enough to take that load on one side, then it can injure. So the stability is very important. So I tend to see a lot of knee pain, ankle pain, hip pain, very commonly seen and very common word, shin splints, tightness in the calf muscles, and that's what
Yeah.
causes the pain on the shin bone, which is very superficial in our leg. That's something which is there. I also see Achilles tendonitis, which is because of the tendon of the ankle, which is behind the heel. That area gets overused because of constant being on the toes, and every runner has a different kind of a pattern of running. Some of them are front foot landers or heel strike pattern, so that can also cause a lot of different injuries. Another very common thing to see in runners is a lower back pain. If their body, if they're doing long runs, especially like people who are preparing for a full marathon, they do tend to train for like 3 hours straight. At least one of their training blocks is such that where they're at peak of their training. So that can also cause a lower back injury, because of the long durations of run. It's very commonly seen in like marathon runners. That's something which is there. Also, not so commonly spoken about, but blisters and black toes. All the runners you'll see who are doing half marathons or full marathons, they do have, blisters around in their feet, or the sole of the foot area. Also, black toes, which are very commonly seen in runners. That's happening because of multiple
Right.
factors, but that's also something which people don't talk about it, and it's very commonly seen. Another injury which I do tend to see is plantar fasciitis. That's basically a fascia under the sole of the foot, that gets inflamed because of the kind of footwear you're wearing, the kind of pattern you have in running. That can cause that injury. And there's an inflammation in the sheath of the foot. So that's there. And apart from that, there are hamstring pulls or tendon pulls which do tend to happen, and that can also cause an injury.
Right.
So these are the
And
most common injuries.
yeah, in terms of detection of these injuries, I'm sure early detection and intervention of a professional makes a lot of difference. So, how does one determine that, okay, you know what, this is when I have to go to the doctor and this is when I can self manage? What is that threshold where you can say that, okay, this is the point where you go to a doctor, show this to a doctor, because it can lead to something serious, but if it's detected now, you can actually cure it.
Yes, absolutely. So initially, when you feel that yes, you've done any sort of a training block, you're starting, any run you do where you feel that yes, my body is sore. Soreness for a day or two is okay. If the soreness lasts beyond 2 days, then you need to take care that this is beyond just the soreness level, it's a pain. So any imbalance you feel, or sometimes you tend to feel that one side of my body is paining or is sore more than the other side of my body. So that's also something which you need to be careful of, that the soreness can last for 24 hours to 48 hours. It should settle down. But if it's not settling down and it is specific to one of the areas, then that needs to be sorted immediately and you need to go and seek a professional help. Also,
Right.
initially when you see that yes, there's a kind of an inflammation, so if you've had an ankle twist or if you've experienced any sort of a muscle spasm in your lower back, try to manage it with elevation, where you can just take your leg up and elevate it, ice it, manage it at home for first 24 hours and then see how your body is responding. Lower back pain cases, you can apply a hot pack and see how the body is feeling, and listen to your body. That's more important than anything else. One day of pain is okay, but then if that pain is beyond that one day, you need to seek a help. Because if you
Right.
just tend to ignore it and keep going on with the same pain, that actually can cause a severe injury where you will be off your spot. So that's something which you have to manage, and make sure that you are able to do it at a correct timing and not wait for that long.
Right. Right. That's really helpful. Since your approach is more preventive, let's dive into that. And what are some effective preventive measures that a runner can take, and what can he incorporate in he or she can incorporate in their daily regime, in their training regime? Let's say they have a week planned for their training. What stretches, exercises, nutrition, or some sort of preventive measure that they can take to prevent an injury?
So, first and foremost, most important is to listen to your body. Body will always give you that sign that yes, I am feeling good or I'm not feeling good. If only you are ready to take that day's workout, then only go ahead with it. Don't push yourself through it. That's most important. If you've had a long duration where you've not worked out, if you've not done your training, and you're not in that zone, don't push yourself. You left at. Try to get back to it very gradually, see how your body is responding, and then only get back to it. Every week by week, you should have only 10% of an increment happening in your training. It should not be beyond that. You should go very gradually with it. And anytime that you're getting back to your sport, you need to make sure that any new activity you're doing, do it for a couple of days, see how your body is responding, and then progress in it. Okay. First and foremost also is to have a plan. You cannot be just blindly following anything. You need to have a plan. That's more important. Their physio, their trainer, and their coach, that okay, now this is the time that I should increase my training, or how to assess that and see how your body is responding.
Um, Lost Paridhi due to some connection problems. Just wait for a couple of minutes for her to join back.
Are you able to hear me?
Hi. Yes, now I am. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. So that's something which you need to plan it out with your coach and your trainer together, that what all aspects I need to work on. If there was an injury previous the training block, have you worked on that completely? Is the injury completely healed? How should go about it? That's important. Another most important thing is that Try to do a proper warm up, which should be static and as well as dynamic in nature. Do a proper foam rolling. Most of the runners do know that they need to stretch well before their runs. Mimic the same kind of movement that you're doing. Do that prior to your runs, and then only go about it. Another part to it is to take care of the recovery. So while you are training, there's very important that you need to recover as well. If your sleep is not good, if your hydration is not good, all of these pointers do, like these factors do make a role in your training. So if you need to
Right.
sleep for those duration, you have to sleep for at least 6 to 8 hours. If you're not sleeping for that much time, there is a high likelihood that your chances of getting injured just like that can increase.
Hmm. Right.
Even take like
And
Scotch massage or do an ice bath for your recovery.
yeah. And how many recovery days or what is that recovery time you recommend for people in general?
And
Your connection is actually sort of,
so recovery time also varies.
yeah, I think now we're good. Can you hear me, Paridhi?
Yes, I can hear you now. You got disconnected. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So we were talking about recovery days. How many days should one plan in their training block or in a training week specifically?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear. I can't hear you.
So, I mean, how many recovery days should a runner plan in a training week? Does it depend on the load of the week, or again, like you said, listen to your body? Do you have to listen to your body, or when do you know that this is where you don't push yourself beyond a point? How does one strike a balance between pushing their limits and overtraining?
So I would suggest that whenever you are doing any training, see the last 24 hours to 2 days, like 48 hours, that what kind of training have you done. If it's post the day of marathon, you cannot be doing any workouts that day. So you need to make sure that you are only doing a rest day, and that's what your body needs at that time. But in case when you are in that training zone where you are training for a marathon, that time you can make sure that okay, my body is feeling okay, I can have an active recovery day also, or an active rest day, which means that you can do a cross training, you can do a swimming on that day, or you can do a light workout or a mobility drill on that day, as compared to straight away just deciding that okay, I need this sort of a rest day permanently in my training block. Very
Right.
gradual and not pushing your limits very quickly. There's a rule of thumb that you should follow, which is 10% every week. It should not be beyond that. If you're pushing beyond that limit, you are unable to perform very well for longevity.
Right. Your voice just broke off in the last sentence. Could you? Okay. I think there is some connection issue from Paridhi. Hi, hi, Paridhi. Am I audible?
Hi, can you hear me? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's happening for me. You are getting disconnected, and I think for you it's me. Anyways, let's continue. Um, yeah. So that was about having recovery, right? I think one of the topics
Yeah.
for today was you showing us actually what exercises and stretches a runner can do in order to prevent an injury, and I think we could talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So basically, initial warm up should be static stretches, and the dynamic stretches have to be done so that you are able to prepare for your runs. Initially, that you're starting off with the static stretches and then gradually progressing to the dynamic stretches. You should also make sure that you are working out and doing strength training apart from just your lower body training. You should also make sure that you're doing foam rolling before the runs. That will actually help in order to make your muscles prepared for that movement. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate a few stretches which are very easy to do. I'll show you those. So the basic stretches are the neck stretches, because every time you're running, some of the people do have a tendency to carry a water bottle in hand, or sometimes you are carrying your hydration bag. So whenever you're running with any load on your hands, there's a tendency that your upper traps are going to get loaded more,
Correct.
right? Are you able to see me?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Am I not visible to you? I can see you, Paridhi. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I can see you. Hi, Paridhi.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, Looks like Paridhi is having some technical issues. Can you hear me now? Hi, yes, we can see you. Hi, Paridhi. Okay, so we're dealing with some network issues here. Let's give her a minute. Hi, we can see you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there is some network issue happening. Can you see me? I'm not sure if Paridhi is able to hear me.
Yeah, I am able to hear you.
Yeah, we can continue then. It's not good.
Yeah. Till what point did you see me?
So we saw your neck stretches and that you were saying that sometimes, these are important for warm up and with hydration rest and water bottles, these tendons tend to get sore. So that's what we saw.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the neck stretches have to be done very gently. I recommend people not to do any rotation work in the neck because that tends to stiffen the neck even furthermore. So do the side gentle stretches, side to side, then looking down diagonally on both the sides. This, then doing the stretches for your arms. It's very important to do strengthening for your upper body as well in running, not just your lower body. This, then you can do a stretch all the way up, go up on the toes, walk around, forward and backward, open your feet out, go on the sides, touch all the way down, both the sides. Use your hip and then lean forward all the way. Feel the stretch all the way back in your thigh and your calves. Then another stretch where you can do is just to get the hamstring stretch in forward. Then doing some for both the sides, just activating these muscles. Mostly you'll find so you can do some hip hike movement, which I'll show you on the step up, where you can stand on it and then do some hip hike movements, going down and doing some knee strength work, just activating the small muscle groups of your body. And then coming back to some dynamic workout where you can increase your heart rate. What it basically means that just to prepare your heart to do that dynamic sort of a workout. So you can increase that heart rate by doing some high knees sort of a workout. You can do a back kick, then doing some jumping jacks on the side. And doing some burpees, then you can go down and do a burpee. So that's something which you can do. Also take a band, like a TheraBand, and tie that around your knee and do some strength work where you can activate your glutes like this. And then you will do a monster walk, which is where you can put the band around the ankle and then do your side strength work. Okay. So these are some exercises which you can start doing before your runs, and that will help in getting your muscle groups activated. So it just doesn't need to be stretching, but it can be activation also, which just prepares your
Right.
body well for the exercises.
Yeah. I think many runners they either tend to completely skip the warm up or they don't really know what to do for that effective training, right? So this these demonstrations are definitely helpful. Uh, Now shifting our conversation a little bit to the nutritional
Yeah,
aspect.
most of them I
Uh,
know do tend to.
yeah.
They
Uh,
do tend to just skip their warm up routine and even their cool down because they have to rush to their work.
right. Yeah. Um, so in terms of nutrition and dietary considerations, how much priority do you personally give these aspects in order to prevent an injury and even recover from injuries?
So nutrition is very very important. There are like macros and micros. So most of the runners, as they all know that macros they are taking care of, which is their vitamins. In macros are mostly their proteins, fat, and carbs, which they do tend to take care. So protein intake is very important because if your muscle mass has to increase, your body has to recover from your runs. So that's very important. But mostly they do tend to forget their micros, which are their multivitamins, just their minerals and electrolytes. That's something which they need to take care. Unived has amazing products which they can go for, which are pre their runs, during their runs, and even post their runs for the recovery.
Yeah.
which can help them in their better, muscle relaxation basically. Even products like Luna can help them to basically just relax down their body. Magnesium supplement can help in decreasing the soreness.
Right.
Even post
Yeah,
recovery
runners
mix
tend
can
to.
help in just getting recovered sooner.
Right. I mean, when you talk about injury, nutrition is not the first thing that pops up into people's heads. It's basically something more physical. How can you physically, recover, rest, or do some stretches? But nutritional aspects are generally ignored, which is where I feel supplements come in, or your daily like a plan to because these are not just important to fuel and give your body that nutrition, but it also helps you prevent injuries. So definitely, what you said
Absolutely.
applies here as well. Yeah. Uh, in terms of injury, once you're injured, how does one, get back to training, and what are some aspects that they should consider before getting back to their usual training?
So, with respect to when you've gotten injured, you've dealt with, the injury, and you are getting back to your sport. So, go very gradual in progress from a very basic stage to an advanced stage. I also do a functional movement screening, which basically helps you to create a baseline and identifies that if there's any strength deficit in your body, or if there's any imbalance in your body, which your right and left side is not working well, which is causing you issue. It helps in identifying that. Once you identify with that, because it gives a scoring. So depending on that scoring, and if there's any scope of improvement in that, you better work on it that moment. So that you are able to get back to your sport injury free and taking care of it for the long term. If at all there's any,
Correct.
a long term effect.
Right.
So that's basic assessment which needs to be done before getting back to the sport. And once you check that, you get to know the So creating that baseline is very important. That's one. Again, when you're getting back to it and you're in your field, you need to go very gradual in terms of your 10% rule is always applicable. That start from very basic runs, see how the body responds, see how the body is feeling, and then progress to 10% every week by week. Don't progress to about 50%, that okay, let me feel good for 5K, so let me just do another 10K or 15K very next day. Don't do that.
Hmm.
So go very gradual with it. Make sure you are taking care of your basics in terms of your sleep, your nutrition, taking care of that how and what my body is able to take. Also most important thing is like your shoes, so that also needs to be taken care, where if at all they are wearing off, you need to change them, because
Hmm.
those wrong footwear or wrong gears can also cause injuries. So if at all any of these factors has caused your injury, then make sure that you're not repeating that again.
Right. Right. Yeah, super helpful. Just quickly wanted to touch upon do you uh, how do you approach? I'm pretty sure you see many people struggling or having psychological challenges as well. Runners telling you that, when am I going to be okay? When can I get back to running? How long is this going to take? So how do you approach such runners saying that you have to you need to give yourself this much time to recover, to let your injury go away and then get back to running. So how important is mindset in all of this?
So the first and foremost thing is to whenever the injury has happened, just accept it that this is what has happened. The sooner you accept, the better it is, because the moment you accept it, you start to work on the next steps and not just think about, okay, now I'm injured, now what should I do? It's not the end of the world. You can get back to it 100% and even stronger than what you left at. Now you know that yes, this injury has happened. Work with your physiotherapist and talk to them that yes, this is where, my root cause was this. I have to work on this so that this does not happen again. That's one thing. Another part to it is that whenever there is an injury, just have a realistic goal plan for you. That if what went wrong in my goals, what went, off where I was training from. Another part is that if at all, for example, the injury is in your knee, you can still work out on your upper body. So don't feel that, okay, I am injured and I should not be working out at all. Just don't wait for that knee to get okay, but work on the other area so that you can maintain that level of fitness. You can work out your upper body, you can work out on your core. If at all there's an injury in the lower back, you can work on your upper body and your lower body. So just try to be consistent with that basic maintenance and not to leave it completely that, okay, now that the injury has happened, let me completely stop it and then I'll get back to it whenever it gets okay. Don't wait for that to
Yeah.
happen. That's very important. Another thing is to have that proactive, like, a prehab plan for yourself, that it should not be that just when the injury happens, then I'll go and seek a physio or I'll do these, exercises. Do it proactively as a part of the prehab, that in your warm up itself, I know that these are the imbalances in my body. This is the muscle which is not working properly. So let me work on that proactively beforehand so that the injury does not happen, and get some like regular sports massages done, so that the muscle is very supple and it's ready to take that workout load, because muscle is a very sensitive tissue. So every time you're loading it, you cannot expect the muscle to recover completely by itself every time. There are possibilities and chances that you can have an injury again in your, training. So that's something which you need to really work on and get going, that, the muscles are prepared enough to take that training block.
Right. Yeah. So prevention is the biggest cure, and if you get an injury, like make a plan. Don't just sit. You have to keep yourself fit, and so that you're mentally also engaged in recovery. So that's great advice. Lastly, how does our audience reach you if they want to reach out to you, saying, hey, you know what, I need to make a plan, the prehab thing that you just said. How do they reach out to you?
Simple way is to just, search on Google, get my number, which is 9017. Reach
Yes.
out to me directly from there.
Yeah, we sort of missed it because we couldn't hear you. Paridhi's website and Instagram accounts are linked in the description. So, anybody has any questions for her, you can directly reach out to her. Paridhi, we usually end these sessions with a quick rapid fire. So, we ask you a question and you have to answer it in a sentence or a word. So, the first question for you is, what is your topmost recommendation or a favorite exercise or a stretch for runners?
Do 5 Surya Namaskars. That's the easiest way out.
Wow,
The
that's
world's greatest
amazing.
stretch in 5 Surya Namaskars.
Great. Uh, Treadmill or outdoor running?
Treadmill for shorter runs and outdoor running preferably for longer runs. Depends on the what kind of training you're training for. But treadmills for short runs only, not for very long duration runs. Or if you're doing some, fast-paced runs, which are going to be at one pace. So to maintain
Hmm.
that pace, then treadmill running is better than the outdoor running.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Ice bath or a hot tub for post-run recovery? Can you hear me? Hi,
Yeah, I can hear you
Paridhi.
now.
Am I am? Okay. I was saying ice
Yes.
bath or hot tub
Yes, I can hear you.
for
Yeah.
post-run recovery.
Ice bath. Always an ice bath because that helps in recovery quicker.
Okay. Okay.
The
Cross
muscles are
training
always
or
inflamed, so you
rest
don't
day?
want them to be inflamed more. So ice bath is the best way out.
Okay. Yeah, there is some lag. Anyway, the next question was cross training or rest day. Am I audible, Paridhi?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. So it totally depends on the load of the workout. So post a marathon, you're not going to do cross training. It's going to be a rest day. But post any easy workouts or easy runs, then you can do a cross training session. So totally depends on the load of the workout that you're doing.
Awesome. The last question for you is, what's your topmost tip for improving running endurance? Hey, am I audible?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me? Hey, Pariti, my
Yes, I
yeah,
can hear you now.
yeah, yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you. Extremely sorry for the technical problems here. Am I audible now,
I
Paridi?
couldn't hear the last.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
last question was,
yeah,
what
yeah.
is your? Yeah, I'm sure you covered this before, but what is your topmost tip for improving running endurance?
So I would say two things in that. One, that you should have a mental preparation, and two, that you need to work towards your hill repeats or fast runs, which you need to get into your training so that you can increase your endurance, and that has to be there for like at least once a week in your training.
Okay, awesome. That's great. I think we can conclude the session here. It was a great session, apart from the technical difficulties that we've had. Extremely sorry for those. Thank you, Pariti, for taking your time out for sharing your expertise with us. And I'm pretty sure we'll all reach out to you if we have uh, we need anything from you and any advice on how to become better runners, how to become better athletes. So thanks a lot for taking your time out. Uh, we have Paridhi's website and Instagram details in the description box, so you can reach out to her anytime. Uh, Thanks a lot. Thank you for taking your time out. Thank you, Paridhi.
Thank you so much, Yashwini, to have me. There have been a lot of glitches technically, yes. I hope, we can do probably another session sometime and then,
Yeah,
add more details onto the same topic.
yeah, yeah. That would be great. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, good day. Bye.
Bye.